Tari, you seemed a lot more active today compared to Thursday. Was that a product of you kind of getting fitness back after the layoff, or was there anything else?
Um, yeah, I'd say so. Saying just get back into a groove. You know what I'm saying? Um, Obviously being off so long, or for the, what I'm saying, the quarantine and the COVID stuff like that, and kind of mess with you. So, the feel of the game might be a little different, but, I felt like, after, the first game, I just kind of told myself that, like, this is a new game, new situation, and it's time to, like, attack it and play out, you know what I'm saying, pick up where I left off.
Tari, how big are these two wins for you guys as a team to kind of go through what you went through over the past month or so, and to be able to get two big road wins to get things back going?
These are huge. I mean, obviously not satisfied. We got one more game, but these are huge. I think that, these were really big. I mean, because, obviously being out for so long, we had to, come together as a team. We really had to come together as a team and just kind of lock in and make our main goal the main goal and focus and be really goal oriented going into these games, especially with, what I'm saying, to be on the road. So I feel like these are really big.
Sorry, you guys were losing these games early, these close games down the stretch. What's happening now where you guys are able to find a way to win these close ones?
I think it's experience. I think experience and just, what I'm saying, have played for so long or have been, playing. I think that guys are starting to, what I'm saying, understand, how to finish a game. And obviously past experiences knowing, how we haven't, it's not a good feeling. So we want to just, as a team, we want to just leave everything on the table. And that's what we try to do.
You describe the impact that Keith Williams had on the game?
Say it again?
You describe the impact that Keith had on the game?
I mean, Keith, there's not much to be said. 1,000 career points today. I mean, he's huge for us. I mean, he's our scorer, he's our leader, he's our guy. So he's really important, to bring it each and every night. And that's what, he does. He made a really good impact today.
Can you tell me what's been different about David over the past two games? It seems like he's, being a little bit more assertive offensively and kind of maybe taking control of things a little bit more.
I think, again, we've had a long break and, again, we're just all, what I'm saying, getting back into the groove of things. So, Dave's just getting into his groove. And, obviously for Dave, he wasn't, he didn't have to, take the breaks and stuff like that. So, he's been working on his craft, working on his game. And, he liked to showcase it, as anyone would. So, I feel like he's just playing his game, doing what we got to do to help us win.
Game to game, what's the key for you being more active and involved on the offensive end?
Say it again?
Game to game, what's the key for you being more active and involved on offense like you were tonight?
I think part of it's just being in shape. I've always been, regardless if anything's wrong with me, I've always just kind of try to have a high motor, and try to just make an impact in anything, loose balls, rebounds, stuff like that. So it's really just, trying to have a high motor and do whatever I can do to just help the team win. I think that's really one of the biggest impacts I bring, just a winning force.
You mentioned getting your footing back, being more comfortable. How long does it take after as long of a break as you guys have had to finally be back at full strength? How long could that take?
Your guess is as good as mine. We're taking this day by day. As a team, we're working and improving every single day in the gym, together. So, when we're at full strength, then I'm sure you'll know and everybody else will know. So, yeah, it's one of those things where you don't know until you know.
You talked about the change.
You guys had a decisive size advantage today. Was that the plan to get it inside and take advantage of that?
Yeah, for sure. We always, try to kind of, talk about, getting the big man the ball, feeding Chris. You know what I'm saying? He is, he's a all team, all league. He's projected all league player. He's a senior. He's a really good talent. So, to not give him the ball would be a disservice to our team and, and everybody on our team. So it's always kind of a plan, to get the big man the ball and have him do what he can do.
You talked about the change in mindset from David. Has there been maybe a different change in offensive approach with Keith and how you guys are using him these first 2 games back?
Not really. I think he's just, being a leader. It's the same thing, Keith, just be a leader and, do what we got to do, or he has to do what he has to do to get us to win.
How fun to see Sam Martin get in there today, drop you a nice pass and pick up a charge and help you guys out.
Man, it was great, to see the work that Sam puts in. A lot of guys don't see that, because it's behind the scenes in practice, walk on, but to see, him get in the game and hoop, it shows that, like, even at practice, he competes with us, regardless of what people think. He can play, he's real quick, and he's a smart basketball player, which I feel like is really it's overlooked with Sam. He's a really intelligent basketball player.
Obviously excited to get to leave here with a win. I need to keep reminding myself we haven't practiced in a long time, because that certainly looked like it. Not real excited right now, other than the fact that we won, so I'm excited about that. But just the way we played, some individual performances and collectively what we did, it was just we got to be better. But the positives were certainly the fact that we were able to get on the offensive glass, which we needed to be there late. Not a lot of turnovers late in the game. And then the other piece was, David making that rebound at the end. They were going to put the ball in. The guy had a wide open layup, and he basically put his nose in there. That's why his toughness is really important. But like I said on our radio show, this was one of those games where, we come into the huddles and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So sequentially it's right, left to right, right? We all pretty much know that, right? So my entire team sometimes just today, lined it up right to left. So it's not 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's how we line up, so we know everybody's in the right spots. That's where our minds were at, and I don't know if it was the travel or whatnot, but we just, and you could see it on I'm sure on TV. I saw them, on the court. We just weren't there completely mentally today, and but at the same time, we got it out of the win through making enough plays at the end. Maybe a little bit of assist from Tulane, some of the things that they didn't do, but overall, we're going to take it. But the old coaching saying goes, you can't accept in a win what you would not accept in a loss. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Coach, early in that second half, turned it over 3 times, gave up the lead. You put in 2 walk-ons, 2 freshmen and a sophomore, and only turned it over 3 times the rest of the way. How much maybe did that one little segment kind of change mentally and get people on the right page some?
I hope it did, because we weren't in the right place, and I'll take blame, because typically we come out of halftime, we are in the right place. And it wasn't a ranting session. I talked to him. I told him we need to slow down offensively and speed things up defensively. I guess, again, like the number sequential in front of me, I guess we got them flipped. So we weren't trying any energy at all, and we needed a spark. So I didn't even know I had enough players to put in there. But luckily, Sam was made available to us yesterday. And he works hard every day and gives us what he has. And those guys came in really good. Sam got in the lane, dumped down, Tari layup, charge on the other end. Ball started moving. Micah hits a shot. It's amazing what happens when the ball moves and you don't try to make plays by yourself.
To that point, it seemed like when Keith was really scoring and playing well today, it was coming more in the flow as opposed to one-on-one isolation. Has that been a change in approach at all the past couple of games since you guys been back?
Well, our one-on-one isolations, Justin, are like 0.4 points per possession. Like they're awful. And for all of us, Keith really, really likes one-on-one isolations. I do too. I'm 47 years old and can't make a layup. I would love for my coach to give me a one-on-one isolation in the game. Okay. But they're bad plays. So we got to stop doing them. Now, today, he was put in that position. It wasn't his fault because they were in a matchup zone. And to be quite honest with you, we tried our best to put as much as we could in. We have some stuff already in, but we're playing guys out of position right now. So we tried as much to simplify for this game, but the hotel ballroom, just doesn't match having practice time. So what you saw tonight was a team that wasn't in great rhythm. My brother was one of the best high school coaches in the state of Kentucky, and he texted me this morning, like, no, it was last night. It was the middle of the night last night. He texted me, he goes, I always found that during, long breaks or when you get guys back or you're out of rhythm, you're out of rhythm the second game, not the first game. I said, well, I appreciate Notre Dame. Thanks for mentioning that to me before the game. And then it comes out and that's exactly what it was. We were just, I think we felt the effects of being off so long.
Coach, how proud are you of this group to do what they did in these last 2 games and fight through that adversity, have the time off, guys out, you got walk-ons playing, guys that haven't had a lot of minutes, and you get 2 big road wins to kind of get things back on track?
Yeah, I don't want to be lost on that. I'm extremely proud. I mean, yeah, and the guys know in the locker room, we have a standard here that we want to meet, and I'm going to hold them to that every day. So I'm not going to accept anything but that. But let's be honest, we have our 5th straight road game on Thursday. Just so you guys know, that is an AAC record. Nobody's ever done that before. So our young men went from Dallas to Wichita to Philadelphia to here, and then in the middle of it, had a 25-day break, and are 3-1 in that time period. So extremely proud. But again, it goes back to their character. Our toughness is growing. Our buy-in is growing. Now we just got to prepare for a really good Memphis team on Thursday in Memphis.
Coach, just a big picture question with Keith. Only 54 players in the history of this program have scored 1,000 points. He's one of them. You know the history of this program. Just what does that say about what he's done here?
Are you saying he scored 1,000 today?
Yes, sir.
Right. No, I mean, listen, Keith Williams will score 1,000 points in every league he's in. Like, the YMCA league, like when he's like 40 something, he'll score 1,000 points in that league. Like, he's a gifted scorer. But extremely proud of him. Again, storied tradition here at Cincinnati. He's certainly one of those guys. And, we don't win tonight's game without his effort. That steal at the end that he made, that under OB, no timeouts left, he played it like a safety. He just went up and got it, and we ended up not getting the ball back. That was a big time play.
You've mentioned kind of getting back to full strength here. What are the steps along the way to finally getting back to 100%?
Yeah, you know what? That's a medical staff question. I mean, we have return to play protocol in place, and I'll meet with them and find out where we're at with that once we get off the road.
I meant just from a basketball perspective. Just getting like mentally back into the form you want to be seeing.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what that'll take. I don't know the length of that. Like I said, it's a pandemic. We've never been through this before. I don't know what the length of that is. I know that we, outside of the second half of Wichita, we were really starting to become a team that was executing and playing a little bit better. I think we got the toughness piece going in the right direction. Now we just got to get the execution piece, and that's just going to take some time. And I think what we saw today is an ability to step back and acknowledge that we weren't mentally where we needed to be able to play the game of basketball. Certainly not at 11 o'clock in the morning in New Orleans. I mean, we had a pregame meal at 7 a.m. this morning. So we got, we were trying to get them going. I think, again, a learning experience. And it's always great to learn and to win.
John, earlier this season, we talked to you about finishing and executing at the end of games. You just mentioned experience there. Tari mentioned that too. Do you think just it being later in the year, the guys get more comfortable around each other and learning how to finish? Is that what you've seen these last 2 games?
I think David made a big-time veteran play. Tari was awesome tonight, awesome. And it was a loose ball when Keith made the defensive play and it was on the ground. And he knows to pick it up. And he comes over and he goes, "Coach, they grabbed my arm." And I was like, "Tari, it's the last play of the game. You're going to have to take that arm with you next time." Like, that'll be the last time he says that. The freshman will say it in the future. He'll be like, "No, man, you got to rip it. You got to rip that arm with you." So we just don't know that yet, And we'll get there. And, sometimes it's our time, sometimes it's not. But, Dave made a big time play with that rebound. Keith made a big time play with the steal, and those are 2 veterans.
You mentioned Tari. He was a lot more active today. Aside from the fitness piece, which he talked about and kind of getting back up to full speed, what's the key to him contributing on offense like he did today?
Well, I think for him, and I got to remind myself of this, he's so long and so athletic, it looks like the game looks, it comes easier to him. So it looks like he's not always playing as hard, right? And he is, it's just he's really talented. So I think for him, the whole process is to be able to get past frustrations and get past when he stubs his toe. In the second half of Temple, he just wasn't in the right place to go play, and Chris was really, really good. And it really helped us win the game. In this game, Chris got in foul trouble, and Tari helped us win the game. right? So how do you recover from the negatives to be able to build more positives? And I was happy that he recovered. JD's got to now take the next step. He's got to be able to recover, be able to recover a little bit quicker than he did tonight. Those are all learning experiences when you have freshmen and sophomores.
Coach, I'm sure at some point soon you'll get Zach and Mamadou back, but how much do you not want it to be lost, what Rob and Sam have given you here in this little bit of a stretch where you've needed a couple guys and they've made some plays. They've been more than just bodies out there.
Well, Chad, I appreciate you bringing it up. And I'll tell you why, because they're selfless. Sacrifice is our third core value in our organization. They embody it. I mean, what Sam brings, Sam's had a really, really good year this year. He's much better this year in prepping our guys for games than he was last year. I mean, the toughness he shows every day in practice. The game of basketball is a truth teller. He's going to play well. I had no issues with it. Right? I mean, I knew when I put him in, he was going to do it. I had complete faith that he was going to make plays. Now, whether they turned into what we wanted, I knew he was going to make the right play. Rob, same thing. Those guys bring it every day. That's why Rob started the other night. He brings it every day. Okay. And when you have that, the guys respect him, the coaches respect him. And as a head coach in a high level, game in the middle of a conference season, in the middle of a pandemic, to put him in the game in the second half of a tight game, complete confidence.
Where's Mason at in his growth as a player, and what do you see from him down the stretch?
Yeah, so Mason, is he's got to get time, right? I got to get time coaching. He's got to get time. I mean, we came into this with, he had a 3 at SMU and a layup at Wichita. He's been snake bit with injuries in the pandemic. And I think, sometimes as coaches, you have a kid like him who's so mentally tough, but he just doesn't have his timing down that you expect him to get it. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. He made a lot of mistakes today, and he was able to play through some of them, which is good because he plays hard enough defensively. See, when you're a freshman, and Mike will tell you this, you can make mistakes as long as you defend. And for the most part, he did that, so he was able to play through some more mistakes. And Mike was able to do that last year as a freshman.
Coach, I realize you're kind of having to scrap these out with limited rosters, but for you as a coach, are there things philosophically, decision-making you can take and actually use moving forward, or is it all kind of a wash?
You know what? I think you can. I mean, there's certain things you got to look at. I think the biggest thing comes back to accountability. The elite teams in the country have the talent and then have the accountability. And when you don't have a bench to hold you accountable because you don't have enough numbers, guys cannot block out on the weak side because they know they're probably not coming out of the game. And I've tried to keep that accountability to the best of my powers with the guys that we have. But if a guy's got 3 fouls and a guy doesn't block on the backside, it's the beginning of the second half, you can't give up the game to make a point or hold somebody accountable because of the fact that he'll come in and get a 4th. So there's challenges with that. And there's other challenges are how to come up with the right amount of game plan versus going over our stuff versus shrinking our stuff down. So I'll look back and learn a lot from this because there's just so many things that you have to get to the game knowing that you're going to miss things. Like they're 1-3-1 today. We haven't gone over 1-3-1. I knew that. I knew they were going to play 1-3-1. We went over on film. We just didn't have enough bandwidth and enough time to get that in and really be able to execute on it.
So does that explain the turnovers a little bit, do you think, just not having seen that 1-3-1?
Well, Keith, they're the best, I think the highest turnover rate team in the conference because they play zone for 40 minutes. So they're alone philosophically. Okay, why? Because teams don't work against zone every day in practice. They don't see zone but maybe X amount of times a year. And then they switch their zones up a little bit. And we were ready for the one zone. I knew we weren't going to be ready for the other zone. We just didn't have enough time. We have to learn their plays. We have to learn their personnel. So sometimes you just have to, hope your veterans can get you through certain spots because we put focus on other areas to help us win. We can't focus on everything in such a short period of time. We got back from Philly at 2 a.m. and, I had to fly down here and play an 11 a.m. game. So, there's things we had to pull back and we're a young team. So we can only accept so much. That's what I meant by bandwidth. And so we'll go back and learn from it. Well, this week we'll get better at it. Again, get better through a win. That's the biggest thing. Make sure our guys understand we can't accept in a win what we would accept in a loss.